Well, hello again. This is, welcome back. This is Mark Summers from Summers Technical Services. We're going to go finish up the double V-block assembly this go around. And so you've got your V-block part and your U-clamp part finished. And so I was going to quickly throw together that last part. You can make it on your own. We're going to use a new Revolve feature and learn about Cosmetic Threads. And if you have time to finish it, fine. If not, I'll give you my copy. And then we'll get into the assembly model and the assembly drawing, which is the crux of the assignment today. So let's get started. All right, if I can find my mouse here, we'll go File, New. Let's make this little fastener part. And it is still an inch part, like the other ones. And let's see if I can find my little drawing. There it is there. So this part is going to be, again, it makes sense to sketch this part on the right plane. Since we did the other two parts the same way, we want it to be oriented the same way. Instead of doing extrude, we could do this in extrude. We could extrude the top head of the bolt or the fastener, and then extrude the threaded portion with a circle, and then extrude that little unthreaded portion at the bottom. Be 3 features, but let's make one feature create the whole part instead of 3, and that's going to be taken care of with a Revolve feature. And so let's see how that works. So we're going to go to the Sketch tab, hit Sketch, and now we're in the sketch plane. In this case, I want my top plane to be represented by the base of the head of the fastener, and so I'm going to draw that such that that'll make that magic happen. And since this is a Revolve feature, we need a center line. And so I want to draw a infinitely long center line and tie it down to the origin. And I know it's not currently tied down because it's not black, it's blue. And so we're going to tie that down right now. And so if I select the line, and control click the origin, make those coincident. Now that line turns black. So now let's draw. We want to draw this thing. We're going to draw half of the shape because we're going to revolve at 360 degrees. And if we draw the whole thing, it's going to revolve back on top of itself. So you want your sketch to look something like this. Right click select. And so when we revolve that 360 degrees, it's going to sweep that out. So if you draw the whole part on both sides, it's going to revolve on top of itself after 180 degrees. So this is what we want. So to make the top plane be where I want it to be, I want this line to be coincident with the origin. And I think I'm geometrically constrained, so now I'm ready for some, whoops, that doesn't look very good. Let's make that horizontal. All right, that looks reasonable. So let's put these diameters on there. And so when I do a smart dimension between a center line and an edge, I get a radius, but I don't want a radius, I want a diameter. The drawing has a diameter on there. So I'm not clicking yet, I just move over to the other side of the center line, and it gives me an option to do a diameter, which is what I want. So that's a 1/2 inch diameter. Similarly, this is a 5/16 fastener. So I don't want to go to that line because that's not the center line. I want to go to this line right here and place that dimension on this side. So it shows up as a diameter. That's going to be 0.3125. And then this little guy at the bottom looks like he's 3/16. So here, zoom in down here on the bottom. I'll get, as soon as my hourglass goes away, from here, and it's since I've been doing these dimensions to the center line, it guesses that I want to do them again. So this needs to be 3/16. There we go. Now we got a couple of heights here. The overall height is 2.35. Goes here to to here. And that's going to be, what did I just say, 2.35. And then this looks crazy, so I need to drag him back down to get him closer to what it really wants to be. And the head height is, what, 0.5 diameter by 50 tall. So that means this distance here is 0.5. And what else do I need? I need this height down here. Whoops, I got this number wrong. Misread that dimension. This diameter is 25. And then this height here is 3/16. So let's go back and get my dimension command. That's what happens when you don't read the drawing. Here to here. That's my 3/16. There we go. And so now what? Get out of the dimension command. It's fully defined. Get out of the sketch. And now I'm going to go back to the feature tab. But instead of selecting extrude boss base, I'm going to say revolve boss base. And it grabbed the sketch because I pre-selected it. It thinks it wants to go 360 degrees, which is correct. And it guesses I want to revolve it about the one center line I have in my sketch. So it guessed all that stuff correctly. And I'll say OK. So now I've got my base of my part that would have taken me 3 features, 3 different circular extrudes. Now I get with one. So any kind of cylindrical part, it's got multiple diameters on this, sharing the same centerline axis. You want to take advantage of the revolve command. All right, now I need to drill a hole through the middle. And so I need to find a place to sketch on to sketch that circle. Well, there is no feature that's flat that I can sketch on to do that 0.13 diameter hole. But there is. Don't forget about these planes you have, even though they're not there until you select them. So I want to sketch on that plane right there. I'm going to draw a circle, and then I'm going to do an extrude cut in both directions to cut that hole all the way through. So that seemed like a good strategy. So I'm going to go to Sketch, Sketch. I'm going to spacebar and look into this view. My origin's down at the bottom. So I'm going to draw my circle up here. And I'm going to make sure that the circle is lined up with the origin vertically. And now I just need one dimension for the location, which is 0.25 from the top. And then the diameter of the hole is 1/8 of an inch. It says 0.13, but the design intent, I believe, is 1/8 of an inch. There we go. And so this circle is not drawn on the face. It's drawn in the middle of the part. But that's what I want because I want to extrude cut it in both directions. So I'm fully defined. Everything's black. Get out of that sketch. Pre-select the sketch. Go to Features. Extrude cut. And I want to go all the way through, but I want to go both ways. And so I want to go through all both. And now I get that feature. That's pretty slick. Okay, now I just need to come up with a way to define these threads. There is a thread command somewhere in here that actually cuts the threads in the model, but that's too complicated, it takes too much time, and it's going to chew up all my valuable graphical memory resources. And so I'm just going to put cosmetic threads on here that will look just like those threads we did with the hole wizard on the previous parts. But when I do my drawing, it's going to show me that that's a threaded feature. So the button is not up here in the default set of buttons under features. So we're going to have to go up here to Insert. You want to write this down. Insert Annotations, Cosmetic Thread. Several of the commands, in this case on the Feature tab, they're not all in the command buttons up there at the top on the ribbon. Sometimes you have to go grab them from the pull-down menus, and so they're there somewhere. So in this case, there's not a button for this, so we're going to say Insert Annotations, Cosmetic Thread, and we're going to read what it says. It says, Thread Settings, select the circular model edge for insertion. And so this is not the edge. This is a face. It says select circular model edge. I'm going to start the thread right there. That's an edge. And it defaults to ANSI inch is correct. It comes over here to machine threads. And look, it guesses I wanted it 5/16. Why did I guess that? Because I made the diameter of that feature 5/16 diameter. And that's a major diameter thread. So it guessed what I want. Except it guessed the wrong threads per inch. There's a 5/16 18. There's a 5/16 24. In my case, I want 5/16 18 based on the drawing. And this is going to go up to next. And the next feature is this edge right here. And that's where it stops. So up to next is a good choice. And I say, okay. And I need to turn on, remember like we did before, I got to turn on annotations using the pull down eyeball. And there you go. That's pretty cool. It's got the, makes it fake you out, makes it look like it's threaded. It's not a real cut helical spiral, but it's good enough for our purposes, and more importantly, it doesn't chew up all my valuable graphical memory resources. So save this guy, add the material, save it, and again, if you don't have time to finish that in class, I'll give you a copy of that. All right. So now that we've got that out of the way, next video is going to be doing the assembly model. And this is where all of our hard work to put our planes in a logical, consistent location is going to pay off. The assembly model is going to come together very quickly. And then we're going to do the assembly drawing, which is equally simple to do because there's just a handful of clicks we're going to do. We're going to do one button click to make the view. We're going to do another click to make the bill of materials, and we'll do another click for the balloons, and then we'll be done. So stay tuned for that. Click on the subscribe button, hit the bell so that you get notified on new videos, and until next time, we'll see you.